I was part of the Hells Angels investigation, which we named Operation Black Biscuit. I'm a retired undercover federal agent, and I infiltrated the Hells Angels. This is how crime works.
In the realm of the Hells Angels, breaking free sets off an epic odyssey. Step away, and the adventure unfolds like a wild roller coaster. Prepare for a bold story of risk and perseverance, in which allegiance unravels and shadows loom. Join the brave people who have walked this perilous route as we investigate the consequences of quitting the Hells Angels. It's an engrossing story about broken connections, unclear prospects, and an indestructible spirit that defies the fire. Prepare to go on an exciting voyage where escape causes a chain reaction of repercussions and untamed release awaits. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, HAMC, is a global outlaw motorcycle club noted for its unique red and white colors and use of Harley-Davidson motorcycles exclusively. This club was founded in the United States in 1948 and has since spread globally, with chapters in 59 countries and a membership of between 3,000 and 3,600 people. The club is generally known by its initials HA, red and white, HAMC, or simply 81, which are obtained from the alphabetical order of the letters H and A. The Hells Angels have garnered significant attention from law enforcement agencies and international intelligence organizations, many of which consider the club to be an organized crime syndicate. The Hells Angels have been designated as such by the United States Department of Justice and Europol, among other authorities. It should be noted, however, that not all members are involved in illicit operations, and the club itself denies any connection to unlawful enterprises. The Hells Angels' characteristic colors, red text on a white backdrop, represent their identity and club allegiance. These colors are proudly displayed on the members' leather vests, known as cuts or colors, which also contain patches signifying the location of the chapter and the individual's level within the club's hierarchy. The club has a hierarchical organizational structure, with a president at the top managing various officials and roles within each chapter. Members are expected to abide by a strict code of conduct and adhere to the club's rules and traditions. The Hells Angels place a strong emphasis on loyalty, brotherhood, and solidarity among their members. Over the years, the Hells Angels have been associated with various criminal activities, including illegal substance trafficking, weapons smuggling, extortion, and organized violence. Their involvement in these illicit enterprises has led to clashes with rival motorcycle clubs, resulting in territorial disputes and, at times, violent confrontations. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, born in the rebellious spirit of post-World War II America, has a history as rich and complex as the roaring engines that propel their iconic Harley-Davidson motorcycles. With origins dating back to March 17, 1948 in Fontana, California, the club emerged from the merging of several small motorcycle clubs, driven by a desire for adventure and a sense of camaraderie. Led by Otto Friedli, a World War II veteran who broke away from the POB Motorcycle Club, the Hells Angels embarked on a journey that would define their legacy. Another theory credits Dick White, a member of the Redlands Roadrunners, for founding the club on November 15, 1951, in San Bernardino. Regardless of the exact origins, the club's name was inspired by the war-era tradition of giving fierce, death-defying titles to military squadrons. Arvid Olsen, an associate of the club's founders and a former member of the Hells Angels Squadron of the Flying Tigers in China during World War II, suggested the name. The Hells Angels gained further notoriety when Howard Hughes released his film Hells Angels in 1930, showcasing the daring feats of aviators. This film likely influenced World War II groups that adopted the name. It is worth noting that the club acknowledges the missing apostrophe in Hells, emphasizing that it is a deliberate choice. Early accounts of the Hells Angels' history are somewhat murky, and different versions exist. The club's first official charter is believed to have been drafted in Fontana in 1950. As the club expanded, autonomous chapters emerged throughout California, with nomadic members moving from city to city. The San Francisco, Frisco chapter, reportedly founded by former members of the Market Street Commandos in 1954, played a significant role in the club's development. Other chapters sprouted in Sacramento, including one established by the Miles brothers, former members of the Hell Bent for Glory Biker Club. Ralph "Sonny" Barger, the founder of the Oakland Charter in 1957, played a pivotal role in unifying the scattered chapters under common club bylaws. The San Francisco Hells Angels, allegedly organized by Rocky Graves in 1953, and the Oakland Charter, led by Barger, had their own distinct patches and logos, representing their respective chapters. The Oakland chapter's larger version of the Death's Head patch, nicknamed the Barger Larger, eventually became the club's standard. The Hells Angels continued their expansion beyond the United States, establishing the first international chapter in Auckland, New Zealand in 1961. The Hells Angels have been depicted in various ways over the years. They have been romanticized as free-spirited icons of brotherhood and loyalty, akin to the legendary James Younger gang of the 19th century. However, they have also been portrayed as violent and nihilistic, often labeled as a criminal gang and a scourge on society, as exemplified in the 1966 film The Wild Angels. During the counterculture movement of the 1960s, the Hells Angels became closely associated with the vibrant scene in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district. They participated in influential events and rubbed shoulders with notable figures like Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters, Allen Ginsberg, Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead, Timothy Leary, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Mick Farren, and Tom Wolfe. Hunter S. Thompson's book about the club, which launched his career, solidified the Hells Angels' connection to the counterculture. In 1973, the Hells Angels made their presence felt in a different way as members from various branches of the organization staged a protest at an Environmental Protection Agency hearing. The hearing aimed to address a proposed transportation plan that included restrictions on motorcycle use and sales in order to meet new Clean Air Act standards. This club, known for its fierce independence and love for the open road, saw these restrictions as a threat to their freedom and lifestyle. The Hells Angels experienced both appreciation and criticism as they continued to negotiate the shifting landscapes of American culture. Their striking appearance, complete with the renowned Death's Head emblem embroidered on their leather jackets, became a symbol of their identity, attracting attention wherever they went. The general people reacted to this identification with a mix of amazement, terror, and curiosity. Becoming a Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, HAMC member, is a difficult procedure with numerous phases and tight criteria. Prospective members, referred to as prospects, must meet specified standards and exhibit the correct mix of personal attributes. The group has a tight code of conduct and bans anyone who has committed serious crimes, such as child harm, or those who have applied to become police or jail officers in the past. Additionally, intravenous illegal substance use is forbidden among club members, reflecting their commitment to a certain standard of behavior. The journey to full membership in the Hells Angels involves a phased process designed to assess a prospect's compatibility with the club and its members. Initially, a prospect is considered a hang-around, which grants them the opportunity to attend club events and meet with members at designated gathering places. If the hang-around demonstrates interest and compatibility, they may be invited to become an associate. This stage typically lasts for a year or two, during which the prospect participates in some club activities. However, associates do not have voting privileges and are still being evaluated for suitability as full members. The next phase is the prospect stage, where the individual is recognized as a prospective member and engages in further club activities. While prospects are not yet full members, they are allowed to wear a bottom rocker patch indicating the state, province, or territory they represent, along with the rectangular MC patch. Prospects are closely observed and evaluated by current club members during this stage to determine their readiness for full membership. To become a full member, a prospect must undergo a comprehensive evaluation process. This process involves unanimous confirmation from all current full club members, emphasizing the importance of consensus within the club. Before voting takes place, the prospect typically travels to each charter within the sponsoring charter's geographic jurisdiction, introducing themselves to every full patch member. This allows voting members to become acquainted with the prospect and address any concerns they may have. Once approved, A formal induction ceremony takes place where the prospect affirms their loyalty to the club and its members. At this ceremony, the final logo patch, including the Death Head emblem, top rocker with Hell's Angels, and bottom rocker indicating the claimed state or territory, is awarded, signifying full membership. This pivotal moment is often referred to as being patched. It is important to note that the patches remain the property of the HAMC and not the individual members. In the event of leaving the Hells Angels or being expelled from the club, a member is required to return their patches. Furthermore, members are obliged to pay dues and attend mandatory club meetings and motorcycle runs. Chapter meetings, known as church, are typically held at clubhouses or at a member's residence. Dues are collected to finance various club activities, such as motorcycle runs and funerals, as well as to cover the travel expenses of club officers attending state and national meetings. After a certain period of time as a member, Hells Angels may become exempt from paying dues, reflecting their commitment and loyalty to the club. The process of becoming a full member of the Hells Angels is a significant undertaking, requiring dedication, compatibility with the club's values, and the approval of existing members. It is a journey that involves careful evaluation and the forging of strong bonds with fellow members. While the path to full membership may be challenging, those who successfully navigate it gain entry into a brotherhood known for its unwavering loyalty and commitment to the Hells Angels legacy. Now let's see how Hells Angels operate. Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, HAMC, operates under a well-defined structure, with each chapter governed by an officer corps consisting of a president, vice president, secretary-treasurer, sergeant-at-arms, and road captain. This organizational framework grants each chapter autonomy in matters of member discipline and minor policy changes, ensuring a balance between centralized guidelines and localized decision-making. As the first notarized and organized outlaw motorcycle club, the Hells Angels have set the standard for subsequent biker clubs in terms of insignias, rules, doctrines, and rituals. Their iconic symbols and practices have become influential in the biker community, with other clubs often emulating their style. Unlike some prominent motorcycle clubs in the United States, the Hells Angels do not have a national or international president overseeing the entire organization. Instead, the club is governed by regional officers, chosen to represent a collective of localized chapters at monthly regional meetings. The regional officers are divided into two groups, those attending the West Coast Officers Meeting, WESCOM, for chapters in the Western United States, and those attending the East Coast Officers Meeting, ECOM, for chapters in the Eastern United States. Regular state meetings are also held in states with multiple chapters, in addition to the chapter meetings themselves. This organizational structure ensures effective communication and decision-making processes within the club. Although the Hells Angels do not have an official mother chapter, the club's de facto national headquarters was initially established in San Bernardino, California, where the club was founded. However, after club founder Otto Friedli was imprisoned in 1958, the unofficial headquarters was relocated to Oakland, California, under the leadership of Sonny Barger, who became the de facto national president. The Oakland chapter holds a preeminent position within the club due to its large membership and Barger's esteemed status among club members worldwide. The Oakland chapter plays a crucial role in making major decisions and granting new charters. Any motorcycle club aspiring to join the Hells Angels must apply to the Oakland chapter for membership, subject to monitoring and approval before being granted entry. The Hells Angels have expanded beyond the United States, acknowledging over 100 chapters in more than 29 countries. New Zealand holds the distinction of hosting the first charter outside the United States, with the establishment of a chapter in Auckland in 1961. The club has since extended its influence to other regions, including Wanganui, where they have taken over local gangs. In Europe, the Hells Angels did not gain a significant presence until 1969, when two London charters were formed. The Beatles' George Harrison even invited members of the HAMC San Francisco to stay at Apple Records in London in 1968, further solidifying their connection. Over time, the London charters merged into a single entity known as London. The London Angels were involved in providing security at various UK underground festivals, leaving their mark on the cultural landscape. In 1977, the Hells Angels expanded into Canada, with the Popeye Moto Club transitioning into the Hells Angels Montreal chapter. This move marked the beginning of a substantial growth phase for the club throughout the country, particularly during the 1980s and 1990s. However, this expansion was accompanied by a violent period known as the Quebec Biker War, which lasted from 1994 to late 2002. The conflict erupted when the Hells Angels in Quebec sought to establish a monopoly on street-level illegal substance sales, leading to resistance from rival illegal substance dealers and crime families who formed groups like the Alliance to Fight the Angels, primarily represented by the Rock Machine. The war resulted in explosions, assassinations, and extensive incarceration, causing significant turmoil in Quebec's criminal underworld. In Spain, members of the Hells Angels Spanish charter were involved in a high-profile death, resulting in a trial that garnered widespread attention. The incident highlighted the challenges faced by the club in maintaining its reputation while dealing with legal ramifications. The Hells Angels, along with the Pagans, Outlaws, and Bandidos, are classified by various U.S. law enforcement agencies as the Big Four motorcycle gangs. These agencies contend that the Hells Angels engage in widespread violent crime and organized criminal activities, including illegal substance dealing, stolen goods trafficking, extortion, and various other heinous operations. However, members of the Hells Angels vehemently assert that they are simply a group of motorcycle enthusiasts who come together to ride and organize social events like road trips, fundraisers, parties, and motorcycle rallies. They argue that any criminal activities are the responsibility of individuals and not representative of the club as a whole. Recently, in a historic ruling in May 2019, the Netherlands became the first country to completely outlaw the Hells Angels. The court in Utrecht declared the club a danger to public order and the rule of law. While other countries, such as Germany, had previously banned local chapters, this marked the first time an entire club had been prohibited. On July 15, 2022, the Supreme Court of the Netherlands upheld the ban, solidifying its permanent status. Becoming a member of the Hells Angels comes with a set of rules and expectations that one must adhere to. The commitment to the club is lifelong, and leaving the Hells Angels is not a simple process. Here are some key rules and aspects of being a member. No sharing information. One of the fundamental rules is that members must never disclose any information about their fellow brothers. Ratting out or betraying a fellow member is strictly forbidden, and anyone who violates this rule can expect to be kicked out of the group. Loyalty and trust among members are highly valued. Once a Hells Angel, always a Hells Angel. Joining the Hells Angels is a lifelong commitment. Members do not retire or leave voluntarily. The only way to exit the group is by being expelled for breaking a rule. The Hells Angels charter becomes a second family, and when a member passes away, all members come together to honor and pay respects to their fallen brother. No media interactions. The Hells Angels maintain a high level of secrecy about their activities. Therefore, members are strictly prohibited from talking to the media. This rule helps protect the privacy and integrity of the club. Exclusive to Harley-Davidson. Owning a Harley-Davidson motorcycle is a requirement to become a Hells Angel. Riding only Harleys is deeply rooted in Hells Angels tradition and represents an important aspect of their identity as a club. Riding together. Hells Angels members share a deep passion for motorcycles. According to their website, they ride approximately 12,000 miles together every year. The camaraderie and connection among members are often forged on long rides, and these shared experiences help strengthen the brotherhood. Attendance at club events. Active participation in club events is crucial to being a Hells Angel. Members are expected to show up for meetings, hangouts, and other gatherings. Failure to attend these events consistently may indicate a lack of commitment and respect, potentially hindering progress within the club's ranks. Brotherhood, not sisterhood. The Hells Angels identify as a brotherhood, and their membership primarily consists of men. While women are not technically members of the club, they play significant roles in supporting the organization. Many Hells Angels have wives and families who understand and accept the commitment and lifestyle associated with being a member. Once a Hells Angel, always a Hells Angel. That's the creed of the world's most notorious motorcycle club, where membership is a lifelong commitment. But in the shadows of this brotherhood, there are whispers of those who dared to walk away. One such rebel is George Christie, a former Hells Angels member who defied convention and decided to forge a new path. After dedicating decades of his life to the club, he made the daring choice to leave behind the leather-clad camaraderie that defined him. But what happens when a brother turns his back on the pack? The tale of George Christie's departure from the Hells Angels took an unexpected turn. After going through the proper steps to leave the motorcycle club, including heartfelt discussions and surrendering his patch, he believed he left on good terms. But fate had other plans. In a shocking twist, Christie received a call weeks later, delivering the devastating news that he was now out bad with the club. Rumors had spread that he was an informant, an accusation he vehemently denies. Suddenly, the friends and family he had cherished were forbidden from associating with him, leaving him feeling like he had gone through a bitter divorce. Christie, a former Marine, chronicled his riveting journey in the captivating book Exile on Front Street, My Life as a Hells Angel and Beyond. The pages come alive with his experiences, both within the notorious club and in the tumultuous aftermath of his departure. But his story takes an even darker turn as he was labeled a coward, rumors swirling around him like a storm. Eventually, he even faced prison time on a conspiracy charge, adding further turmoil to his already turbulent life. But not all who leave Hell's Angel face the same. From the gritty streets of Oakland to the star-studded sets of Sons of Anarchy, David LaBrava's journey is as wild as a ride on a roaring Harley. Known for his role as Happy Loman on the hit crime drama series, LaBrava's connection to the Hells Angels was more than just on-screen authenticity. When LaBrava first joined the show as a technical advisor, little did he know that fate had something greater in store for him. The creator of Sons of Anarchy recognized LaBrava's raw talent and offered him a role that would catapult him into the spotlight. It was a match made in biker heaven. But LaBrava's ties to the Hells Angels ran deep. As a member of the notorious Oakland chapter, he lived and breathed the brotherhood. Yet, after years of riding alongside his biker brethren, LaBrava made a decision that would change his life forever. In 2019, he took to Instagram to announce his departure from the largest motorcycle club in the world. With a heartfelt message, LaBrava declared that he was no longer a patch holder, choosing to embrace his new identity as a civilian. It was a bittersweet farewell, tinged with gratitude and a sense of moving on. Unlike the shadows that cast a dark cloud over George Christie's exit, LaBrava's departure from the Hells Angels seemed to be on good terms. He left in good standing, bidding adieu to the leather-clad fraternity that had shaped him. LaBrava expressed his appreciation for the club and its members, acknowledging the time he spent riding by their side. In the seedy underbelly of the outlaw world, rules govern even the most forbidden desires. And for ATF agent-turned-insider Jay Dobbins, the Hells Angels' code of conduct when it comes to women is a dark and dangerous game. In a jaw-dropping video interview released by Insider, Dobbins spilled the beans on the intricate web of relationships within the infamous motorcycle club. Within the Hells Angels ranks, there exists a strict hierarchy when it comes to the fairer, intimate relationships. At the top of the chain are the revered old ladies, the wives and girlfriends of club members. Crossing the line by attempting to dabble with a member's significant other is a surefire way to invite a world of pain. Dobbins warns of the violent consequences that await those foolish enough to disrupt this delicate balance. But the twisted world of the Hells Angels holds more surprises. Enter the groupies, those enigmatic women who find themselves drawn to the raw magnetism of the clubhouse. Dobbins revealed a tantalizing secret. They move from member to member, sharing moments of passion without igniting the flames of jealousy between the bikers. A remarkable arrangement in a world where loyalty is prized above all else. As for what goes on behind closed doors, Dobbins tantalizingly kept that information under wraps. While he doesn't explicitly confirm whether being intimate is allowed within the sacred walls of the clubhouse, He paints a vivid picture of parties and debauchery that frequent the chapter. It seems that the Hells Angels know how to throw down when it comes to revelry. But don't be fooled by the bikers' rugged exterior. Dobbins unveiled a surprising truth. The Hells Angels are not a monolithic entity. They are a complex organization with members from all walks of life, each with their own unique interests and pursuits. From Alaska to Argentina, the reach of this notorious motorcycle club spans the globe, boasting an impressive 475 chapters in 62 countries. It's a testament to their enduring legacy and the allure they hold over countless individuals.